Hello viewers, this Too Fast here. Right here is my 2017 Nissan Pathfinder. Recently I was doing some work on my vehicle, and when I tried to remove the lug nuts on the wheel, I noticed a 21mm socket that I normally use did not fit over the lug nut. I ended up using a 22mm socket to remove it. After looking at it a little bit more, I realized these lug nuts suffer the symptom of swelling. In case you didn't know, many of these factory lug nuts are actually not solid metal. It's a hollow nut with a thin piece of chrome sheet metal wrapped over it. And over time, if any moisture gets in between the two metal surfaces, some rust will form, causing it to swell. And on my vehicle, this problem is on all four wheels. Now I can tell you right now, there is no fix to these lug nuts. You pretty much have to replace them. And in this video, I'll show you where you can get replacement lug nuts that won't break your bank. So right here I have a 21mm socket, and if I try to put on the lug nut, it barely fits over it. Right here is a 22mm socket, and if I place this on the lug nut, it does fit. It's a little loose, but it does fit. So I'm going to remove this lug nut and do some measurement and show you the difference between the original 21mm size and what it is right now. Now since I'm only removing one lug nut right now, I don't need to jack up the vehicle, as long as you don't drive around with 4 lug nuts only. So let's first measure the dimension of this socket. This is a 21mm socket. You can see it measures 21.2mm. Now I'll measure this original lug nut. It's measuring 21.67mm. Let's measure another side. 21.64, 21.72mm. And just that little bit of difference makes it very difficult for the socket to fit over this lug nut. Like I'm pushing on this right now, it won't go in. Now earlier I mentioned this nut is actually hollow. If you look in here, see that silver part at the bottom here? That's actually part of the sheet metal that's covering the end. So behind this washer, if you use a screwdriver or something to cut this open, you can actually remove this cover and it reveals this hollow nut. Let me show you a picture of what I mean. As you can see behind the metal cap, it's just a hollow nut. And what can happen is over time, water can get inside here and cause this nut to swell. Now I should mention with this Nissan Pathfinder, the thread in here is M12 by 1.25. And when you're looking for replacement lug nuts, that's the sizing you need to match. And also it has a flat washer that you see right here. And this is what they call a flat seat fitting. It's not acorn, even though this edge is angled. So the fix is to actually replace all the lug nuts on the vehicle. And why you want to do that is because if you leave it the way it is, let's say you have a flat tire, that factory jack with that wrench won't be able to remove that swollen lug nut off the car. And now you're stuck on the road. So you have a couple of options here. One is you can go to Nissan dealer and buy the replacement lug nut. If you buy it from them, it'll cost around $12 for one lug nut. On this vehicle, there are 20 pieces, so it can get quite expensive. Right here is a set of aftermarket lug nuts I found on Amazon. Now I got this set of 20 pieces for under $20. These lug nuts are solid steel, so you're not going to have any problem with it swelling after a couple of years. Let me give you a close-up look of this label. Here it tells you it's M12 by 1.25 with a flat seat, 20 pieces. Now these ones are empty because before filming I've already installed the new lug nuts onto the 3 other wheels. But let me show you these new ones here. So right here is the new lug nut, M12 by 1.25, and this is a solid piece of steel. There is no metal cap on top of the lug nut, and also has a flat washer just like the original one. And let me measure this new one here. 20.65mm. I'll measure another side, 20.67mm. And that little bit of difference allows this 21mm socket to fit right over it. And here's a side-by-side look of the original Nissan one on the left side and the new solid piece on the right side. So if you're doing this at home and you don't want to jack up the car, you can replace the lug nut one at a time like I'm doing right here. So right here is a new one. Go ahead and thread this on. Now I'm just going to use this impact wrench to snug up the lug nut. I'm not using it to tighten it. It's on the lowest torque setting right now. The torque spec for the lug nut on this Nissan Pathfinder is 85 foot-pounds. Right here I have a torque wrench and it's set to 85 foot-pounds. I'm going to go ahead and tighten this to 85 foot-pounds. So this lug nut is done. I'll go ahead and replace these other four. So this wheel is done now. Go ahead and repeat the same procedure for the other three. Before I wrap up the video, there's one thing I want to mention. There are a couple of people that complain about these rusting. Now these lug nuts are chrome plated steel. And when you use an impact wrench on it, the hammering effect of the wrench will chip away at the chrome plating. Once that chrome plating is chipped, you might start seeing some surface rust. And this is very common with many chrome plated one-piece lug nuts. So I wouldn't really worry too much about it. So if you own a Nissan vehicle and you have the same problem, I hope you found this video to be helpful. If you want to know where you can get the replacement aftermarket lug nuts, check out the link below. I hope you enjoy watching this video. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching this video. To support this channel, remember to click on thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the notification bell so you get notified of new videos.